Hey, welcome to AgileTD After Work. So today we have Marcel. Marcel Veselka is with us. He's going to talk, of course, about test automation, about the AI agents, and let's see what he's talking about. So because he has been working for a long time to set up something, maybe he will tell us a little bit about that. So first, we invite him to the stage. Hey, Marcel, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Oh, good. A bit rainy day, so hopefully someone will joining us today.
Yeah, raining day. This is a typical summer day in Germany.
I see.
Not in Spain, but nowadays in Spain today, I think in some places are really quite rainy. But it's okay. So tell me a little bit about you. So who are you? What do you do?
Actually, I'm tester for the last 20 years. I started as a part-timer 2004, and I fall in love in testing. And since that, I was doing a lot of stuff from manual automation, management, consulting, various topics. And last 2 years, I'm building, of course, as anyone else, AI-powered testing tool and trying to learn some new stuff from that as well. Because before I was using the tools and trying to increase the efficiency, now I'm trying to build one. So that's my current baby and my current kind of hobby and work as well.
Okay, that's good. So where are you based?
Actually, I'm based in Prague, in Czech Republic. Currently, I'm traveling, so let's see how it will work. Hopefully, all is set up properly. And
so let's see. So let's start. I bring your presentation to the front, and I will go to the back, and then I will come back to as soon as you're ready, or if you need anything, I will be there all the time. Okay. Thanks so much. Enjoy. Okay, and welcome.
Okay. Thank you. So hello, everyone. I hope you can see my slides. I'm super excited to be here with you. Again, my name is Marcel Veselka, and I'm a tester. And I would like to share some ideas with you I'm working on now. So maybe let me show you a few, or start with a short story here. I don't know how many of you know this company, Blockbuster. I found that actually many guys from US know that, but in Europe it's not so well known company. They had more than 80,000 employees and more than 9,000 stores in US, and they were renting videotapes. And there are a few more such companies where something happened and it stopped, or they stopped. They probably bankrupt, or they bankrupt. And the reason for that was, I guess, that they was not able so quickly adapt, and they was overrun by some other companies. And probably now some people talking about Apple, that maybe they are also under some big pressure because they cannot keep up with AI, and they do not innovate enough, and it's not the brand as we loved in the past. And I don't want to judge here. I don't want to predict, but the world is changing quickly, and we need to adapt. So going further from here into maybe our software testing world, how does it look for you in software testing? Are we adapting quickly enough? Sometimes people are too crazy about that and maybe overspending on this. But I would like to share with you some basic view on this, or my personal opinion on this. Maybe you will disagree. But if you look what we have in software testing from the basic principles, we are still trying to drive the key kind of metrics. We, at least my last 20 years, I could see that we are searching for some approaches to be more quicker, make it cheaper, and also keep the quality under control, or ideally even increase the quality. And the solution for this, it's easy. One of the strategy we could pick up is no testing at all. Maybe that's might be good enough for many cases, but sometimes this is not a good idea. In the past, maybe actually a couple of decades ago, someone says to solve the issue of speed or to make it cheaper, the test automation would solve the problem. But you might know maybe better than me that this also brings a lot of struggles. And sometimes I say, we maybe fixed some problems, but we introduced new ones we never had before. And that's not the only solution for this or only idea we have. Last couple of years, we are discussing AI, and people are excited about the topic. They are trying to use it everywhere for everything, but it's not the silver bullet, I believe. But there are certain cases where this could be pretty good and efficient. And probably you know this slide. I am presenting already multiple years that the journey to the better testing had certain, I don't know whether to call it stages or eras, but we start with manual testing. Later we introduced test automation, and these days we are talking about AI augmented testing or autonomous testing or AI powered testing, you name it. And there were plenty of tools on the journey to support the ideas. Some were simple, like Microsoft Excel. In some cases, we were using tools like Selenium, Cypress, or our beloved Playwright. And even Gartner was talking about this kind of idea that maybe the next stage is autonomous testing or AI-powered testing, or they rename it to the AI-augmented testing later, or recently, I would say. And they are predicting that this will eat up the traditional testing. At least they predict that 1/3 of our approach will be autonomous. But let me bring my point soon, but later, not here, because I would like to touch this topic of autonomous testing and what that means, because it's out there for, I don't know, maybe already 1 decade. So autonomous testing is the approach where we are trying to search for the ways how we could reduce our human involvement in order to make it quicker, maybe better, maybe not. And also, someone say that in order to do that, we need to introduce some AI algorithms. So testing without humans, just AI powered, you might say that's a stupid idea. So I asked this question around 300 people last year, and they gave me different answers. Someone says yes, someone no. Someone's yes, but only for some super simple cases. So if you would turn this into some statistics, that would be the result. And I would expect that this year the numbers would be much more optimistic, because we are coming with the idea, or the idea of AI agent was introduced just a couple of months ago, or I wouldn't say introduced because that's a pretty old idea, but the frameworks and tools supporting the idea are now much more accessible as it was maybe 1 year ago. But let me, before we will go into this autonomous testing idea, let me maybe explore the topic of testing. So what the testing really means for you, or for me, or for us. Is it test execution, or is it also some test build or preparation of test data and test scripts to automate the stuff, or test design, or test analysis, test planning, or test reporting, or test data generation? What that testing means. And if we are talking testing without humans, which of these activities we could hand over to some machines to make sure that the quality is good enough and we make it cheaper and better. So if we would now try to take all these activities in the process of testing and try to draw some chart about this, I would like to introduce something like autonomous testing gap or adoption of test automation. So if we have these all activities on some this type of chart, maybe the adoption of test execution is the test automation of test execution is the highest one, but all the other are probably a bit weaker. So autonomous testing gap, as I call it, is all the area or all the opportunities we have to increase our automation to make sure that the testing could be more autonomous. I'll be explaining the autonomous testing in a detail, or the autonomous testing levels later. And I asked this also another 300 people, or roughly 350 people this year, and I've got some numbers, some index, how much they automate each and every activity. And this is the index. So you could see that the deployment has the biggest automation adoption. So many companies nowadays automate the deployment, but you could see also that test planning is on the opposite extreme. There is no almost automation in that area. And this was taken, I think I started in Q4 2024, and last 3 quarters I was keep asking the same question to collect some data, and then I try to draw some graph out of it to see visually what are the top 3 maybe where people are applying some automation, and maybe what are the weaknesses. And you can see that test analysis, test design, and test planning are pretty weak in terms of automation. So how we could maybe close this autonomous testing gap, or how we could increase this level of automation in all the activities we could run. And I'll give you just a few ideas, and I was working on some of them last couple of years. And it was basically enhancing or advancing the test automation. So we were trying to increase the coverage by introducing some visual testing. We were trying to implement some AI assets. We were trying to build some AI-powered bug reporting, so we could call the LLM to prepare the bug reports better and following some template. We were trying to introduce tools like Report Portal or Allure to improve our reporting capabilities. We were trying to automatically generate test cases, some ideas like Selenium or any similar to self-heal the tests. We were thinking about planning and test selections with the tools like what was that? Launchable and similar. Then recently, like maybe last year, we are discussing the testing with AI agents, and probably you also noticed the big, I would say, explosion of MCP, especially around the Playwright, and we're still trying to find a way how we could autonomously test. So these are just a few ideas I was able, or I was lucky to play with and work with. And today I would like to focus on this, maybe what's on the edge, I would say, these days, and where I see maybe the future of an advancement in the area of test automation, or in testing in general. And to be honest, I'm biased. I'm working on web app test automation or web app testing. So maybe some of the ideas are super focused on that. So let me focus on these 2, and I split that and try to make it clear that we will be talking about LLM workflows, and later we will talk about AI agents and some ideas behind this, because this is what is enhancing, and I believe in a couple of months it will be even better. I feel like we are in this hello world era for AI agents still. So let me start first with that automatic test creation. And if there is someone who is following me last, I don't know, 18 months or maybe 3 years, you probably noticed that I was building a few prototypes and tools like BDD Copilot, which is open source on GitHub, and you can play with Playwright and write the feature files, and you could get the automated code from GPT integration, and a lot of other prototypes, including the ideas with Cypress and Robot Framework. But I would like to now talk about this idea specifically, which is more generic, and you can build it your own way. So the LLM workflow first, and then I will explain how you could use this. So you probably remember the times when we were bringing a lot of ideas to conferences and saying, once you copy this into GPT or ChatGPT, you will get this result. I hope this era is over. And now we are trying to integrate everything into our tooling. So basic and simple LLM applications or workflows could integrate the LLMs and use some tools. And with this area, and you can find this as a prototype open sourced on GitHub, I was trying to build something using the approach by running this simple workflow. So I crawl the data, I crawl the web app, collect the HTMLs and screenshots, and then I just simply shoot on LLM and say, these are the data, propose me some user stories. And I've got the user stories. After that, I run it again, and I was prompting to get the tests. And at the end, I generate a Playwright code or any other code. In my case, I was playing with the Playwright, so that was the prototype is built with Playwright. I don't want to go into too much details here, but this dramatically increased our efficiency. Even we need to always review the results. I was much quicker with this by shaping the output from LLM. And I was able to collect some screenshots, and then I got the user stories. And then this is the example of the test cases I've got, including the steps, expected results, priorities, and so on. I didn't prepare the slide about the code, but at the end, I was able to generate test code, providing these tests and HTML files from the crawler. And this was a few months ago, but this era somehow finished, because I found out that in many cases, if you didn't prepare proper data, or if you didn't prompt well, it starts hallucinating and you couldn't retry or improve it. But I think it was in October or November last year where we start experimenting with a new AI idea, and this was AI agents. And in this case, the workflow itself easily turned into something more independent from human intervention by being able to take the actions and decide itself. So whenever it fails, it was able to rerun, and it used multiple tools. So imagine the workflow I was talking about, that it could be able to run and execute these things easily alone. I will give you a short demo soon, so you will see how I built my first very simple AI agent using Versal AI SDK and running some simple login procedure just by prompting. So we were forced to learn a lot of new stuff, understand what is the planning and reflection, how the tools works, and I will explain tools soon, and also how to deal with the memory, not only the one which is the session of chat or the conversation, but also how to connect our LLMs to some vector databases and bring some more data into LLM, or how to do the pre-training. If you're interested in this topic, I have an entire 1 hour video on YouTube how to build an AI agent for testing, so you can go there But for now, I decided to bring only very short demo, how this could look like. So this was one of the prototype I was trying to use or to learn and then improve our tool by building this from the scratch, from the open source. So what I need to do first is that I need to prepare some system prompt to design how the test agent should work, or what are the rules to follow. Then I need to provide a user prompt. This is typically the test. In my case, I just ask to test a login procedure using some credentials. And then I need to write the code. And I didn't bring the entire code because it could be a bit heavy and maybe also a bit boring. But you basically need to decide or pick some LLM model. Then you provide the prompt. Then you need to implement your tools, like interacting with the app, which means clicking, filling, selecting some values from select box and so on. In my case, I was using Playwright under the hood, but it could be any other test automation tool. And the rest is just some kind of reporting details. So how it worked, if this was set up, all rules work, then I was able to run this simple test. And it worked in a way that I basically start the agent, and you can see on the right side the terminal with all the details, and on the left side in the small frame the browser. And I basically run the agent without anything more than just this prompt, and I was able to let the agent decide about the 13 steps. You can see the list of the steps in the middle, because later when I build a slide, I found out that it's too small maybe to read the console log. So it basically decided to start testing or picking up the first tool, which in my case was start testing. Later it gets the list of elements to interact with, and then it decides to click on sign in. Then it analyzes the screenshot and check whether it navigates to the proper page. And if it's so, then on step 5, it basically try to get the elements to interact with. And then it decides to fill first field. I guess it was login name. Then it analyzes it again, and it just continues until the end. And at the end, I've got some kind of report. So this was super simple, and I've got pretty excited because I felt like, aha, these days the automation will probably look differently. But I was thinking, okay, but they promised that the AI is the beautiful tool which will solve all our problems. But in this case, I wasn't sure, because of course it is pretty fancy, but it introduced some challenges I didn't have maybe before, or they were a bit different. But talking about this, I would just like to repeat how the test agent worked. So it basically picked up all these tools. But let me maybe share with you my concerns. One of the concerns was that it's still pretty code heavy. I need to implement all the tools. I need to prepare some proper prompt, and then I need to still maintain. So for instance, when I was trying to use this for the app where I need to double click, there is no such a tool. So I need to introduce a new one. Or if I want to test GPS coordinates or GPS navigation, then I need to introduce another tool. If I want to test something else, so I would need to keep up and introducing new tools and then maintain them. I felt like, okay, but how I could track all the history and everything. So I felt like, okay, I could integrate with, I don't know, Atlassian Jira or Report Portal or something similar. But that was another kind of development task to build this into the tool. And later, I felt like, okay, but how I could do that to integrate with different apps? Like, what if I would like to use this for API testing or mobile testing. And then another big headache came when someone said that maybe I should try Anthropic instead of OpenAI LLM models. So these were my challenges, and I'm still dealing with some of them. But let me use the last item here, this switching between LLM models and maybe also integrating with some other tools to be a good opener for another section of the story. So I was able from these LLM workflows move to the AI agents, and then I found out that this MCP and A2A, which I will explain soon, will help me maybe to deal with some scalability issue. And in this case, I would like to talk about these MCPs and A2A in testing, because that's probably why you are joining today, or not this topic, but the testing topic is something which is relevant to my testing friends and all the followers of this stream. So how this could help us? First, let me introduce or explain what is this MCP. MCP it stands for Model Context Protocol, but in short, if I would like to simplify what it does actually, is that it helps me, or in super short explanation, it's just API or type of API. It's interface between your app and some third-party services. And I will explain soon what does it mean. And it also standardizes not only the communication between LLM models and your app, but it also standardizes how the tools should look like, how we should deal with resources, and how we should deal with the prompts. Because this is typically what we need to shape when we are building our app. This is still kind of broad definition, and I will try to make it more specific. Some people trying to simplify this in a way that it is just standard interface, so everyone could connect another third-party services to their app. If I would if I would try to be more specific, let's imagine that you are using either Claude or ChatGPT, and you want to integrate other third-party service. This MCP helps you to standardize the communication. So whomever from the third parties want to connect to either Claude, ChatGPT, or any other MCP client, it could be VS Code or Cursor or anything else, it will help you to connect it easily, because then you build just MCP server and the clients could simply connect there. Well, as I said, there is one tool which is called MCP or Playwright MCP server, which is able to control your browser. And in this way, you basically, on top of VS Code, you can use GitHub Copilot, and GitHub Copilot is behaving as a MCP client connecting to MCP server in Playwright. So this brings us a lot of other features we cannot use in a past. We couldn't use easily in the past in a very standard way. And as I said, still we live kind of hello world era, but this opening up a lot of new opportunities. And if you are interested in this topic, I think there was a brilliant talk from Debbie a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. So you can find that probably under this channel, or how to call that. So you can learn more there. That's why I decided not spend too much time on Playwright MCP, but basically that helps you to bring some agents into your code base. You probably, if you are studying the agents, you probably noticed also some other principles, and one of the principles is that we should split in these agents into smaller smaller ones to solve single problems, and then chain them. So there is something like multi-agent architecture. One interesting article could be read on LangChain blog post if you are interested. But all these things are now growing heavily, and Google decided that there will be another protocol which is which supports communication between agents. So from these MCPs, we are somehow moving into agent-to-agent communication, and Google designed some A2A protocol to do that. So these are all signals or some kind of moves in the era of AI, where we are building the agents and integrating them in a more standard way. So now I would guess, even it's funny, but it looks like last 3 months or maybe 6 months, it's time of standardization where everyone is introducing MCP. But still, there is a lot of components. And if you remember this autonomous testing topic I was talking about, it's still pretty manual. We are building a lot of stuff, which is exciting. But on the other hand, how far we could be from this fully autonomous testing. And let me just move there and try to maybe question this idea again. So if you remember, I was talking about autonomous testing as human-less and AI-powered or AI-augmented. And for this, I have one, I believe, nice slide. Hopefully you will like it as well. So if we are talking about autonomous testing, we are probably talking about various tools to apply. So if this is a comparison between manual, automatic, and autonomous, you might find out, or you might know, that sometimes you need to switch between the tools to tidy up the house or the app or the quality. So I would guess that this is super important to understand that there is no magic where we could use only one tool. And if you go to the definitions, there are 5, I'll just quickly skip these slides. There are 5 levels of autonomous testing. And it could be fully manual, or it could be fully autonomous, but it wouldn't work, I believe. We need to somehow balance between the proper approach for the proper problem. And this is changing. I think when I started my career in software testing, I couldn't imagine that we would use automation tool to test new functionalities. We always focused on regression testing with automation. Now people start talking about this test automation for pull request, and the automated tests are generated within the pull request. These days, people are talking about a lot of these kind of interesting approaches, including the autonomous exploratory testing and many others. I know that we are not there yet, but with power of AI and proper application of this, we could achieve more. And I also see a lot of people skeptical about that, and they are right, because we shouldn't be overexcited about the power of the AI, but I believe it's another tool helping us to maybe bring some activities more to the right, so we don't need to do it manually anymore, and we can focus on something else. I would like to show you one example how this could work with the autonomous testing if you integrate all the ideas together. And this is something that I'm working on, and there are a few other companies working on that. So take this as an only example. And what I'm trying to build is that I'm building multiple agents working together and trying to let them communicate together. And as I said, if you are interested in AI testing agents, this is the video. It's more generic about the topic. It explains the tool and how the agent works and so on. So if you are interested, you can watch that. But what I was thinking about, that maybe I will give you one more inspiration or one more idea how this could work if we integrate all these things, all the ideas, including self-healing, maybe even visual testing, into one single solution. Then this would be one of the way how to do that. So you probably know about tools like Lovable or Vibe, coding tools like V0 or Bolt, or there are plenty of such tools these days. So we were inspired by that, and we said, okay, how it would look like if we have not Vibe coding, but Vibe testing tool. So we shaped that into something simple, where you provide URL and prompt, and then you start your testing. You start actually your test automation. And once you trigger this by clicking on Test Now, you could get some running crawler, which collects the screenshots and prepare the tests. And this test has all the steps, all the locators there, and everything prepared to be executed. And once this is done, then maybe we are closer to that autonomous testing idea. I'm not sure whether this is the final stage and what will be the next, but this is how it could look like. So you basically, from the single prompt, you will get that results completely, maybe even the test report. So I was thinking about how this could be used, or where we are heading actually. What is the best testing approach? Is it a manual testing? Some people would say there is no better approach than using humans for testing, because you need to have the feel. You need to understand how the app works. You cannot hand over this to someone else, because the quality is important for the humans. We are building the apps for the humans. So why we should hand it over to some machine? Some people say that it's pretty stupid to run the regression testing manually, so they start automating. And some people are excited about autonomous testing, as I do. But what is the best testing approach? And I would like to propose that you should have something like this, some kind of toggle. And in your case, it might be completely on the left side. It could be completely, I don't know whether completely on the right side, but it could be more on the right side. And there is no one-fit-all strategy. But I believe that we are now facing another big wave where we could learn a lot, and we could hit the walls. It could be pretty painful, but I think with this kind of AI era, we are able to build better testing as it was a few years ago. And I just brought some of the ideas today to inspire you how this could advance. And I'm not saying that this is the best stage. For me, it is. I'm excited about the topics we are dealing with, but I would like to inspire you that we could probably benefit from the new algorithms and new ideas popping up around us. And I was trying to start explaining the journey of that better testing approaches. I was trying to introduce something what I name as a autonomous testing gap or gaps. Then I focus on a few items from my list of the ideas, which is incomplete, but I believe, or it is probably, yeah, it's incomplete, but I put there some which might be relevant to introduce or improve our automation, adoption of automation in many areas. And then I was trying to show you very quickly how this could look like if you integrate the ideas into one box. And actually you can get from the prompt entire set of tests fully automated in some test automation framework like Playwright or Robot Framework or Cypress, WebDriver IO or Java Selenium or whatever you name it. And with that, I would like to thank you that you was with me today, and hopefully I am still connected because I said
Thanks so much, Marcel. Was very nice. Thanks so much. Was really a very good overview, and I think that it's important what you say and what you said. And I think for the people, I mean, this a lot of things are changing every day, and we see that things are moving ahead. If you see that a few weeks ago, the whole topic was Gen AI. Now the whole topic is agentic AI, and this is interesting for the part, and we see it also as at the Agile testing days. We see that all the vendors that are coming, all the people that are coming, they want to talk only about that, and this is interesting. Yeah, let's see. Let's see where it goes.
So I heard actually some funny story from someone that some other speaker, and he said, you know what? One of the conference organizer approached me and asked me to talk about something non-AI, because they are so full. Everyone is talking about AI, so they wanted to balance the.
Yeah, you need to, because we have also all the topics. We have a lot of things. I mean, we have three main topics. One of them is AI, Gen AI, agentic AI. One is test automation, and of course security. And I mean, there is, of course, there are people talking about security and AI and so on. But there is a lot of other topics. But the main ones are on that. We have seen already 2 years ago when it started, and or 3 years ago even. And but it's interesting to see. So let's see which hot topic we're going to have next year. It's always very nice.
Another flavor of AI.
Yeah.
This year is vanilla. Next year is chocolate AI.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, you know, there is. I think there is something that is going to happen. I think on one side there is the hype, okay, and the other side is what can I achieve. And at the end of the day, the important thing is what is coming at the end out. Okay, what's coming out at the end. So and how can I apply that? What the things that I can get? And you see that there are many people with very nice approaches how to do that. And I think, in my opinion, is that we need to see that as a tool. So like you put in the picture with, I don't know the name in English of this one, and the Hoover and then the robot. And I think sometimes you will need the robot, sometimes you will need the Hoover, sometimes you do it by manually, and sometimes maybe you just need to do like that. I don't know. So it depends on the things that you are doing. And but in my opinion is that you know, we are going to be there for a long time. And I read today a very nice article. I think it was Gardner who says that there's going to be an increase of or 30% of the work let me think. So something with 30%. So it's going to be up, or you need 30% of people just testing and the things that are coming out from AI, just to see that all the things that agentic agents are creating fulfill the requirements. So let's see how this goes.
I heard a lot also like skepticism around this. Like I already saw I saw some study, or they published a study that maintaining that outputs, it's much more demanding as it was before. But the question is whether it's just transition period because we didn't introduce or invent all the algorithms, or all the innovation is not there, or is it some kind of pattern we will need to deal with? And
I think we are maybe at the beginning of the steam machine, and then, you know, from the steam machine to a Porsche, it's a long way.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Okay, thanks so much for being there. It was a big pleasure, and thanks so much for attending, all the people here. There is no questions today, and as you know, this is going to be in our channel, not only here in LinkedIn, but also in YouTube, so that we're going to share that. We're going to share also in our Slack channel at the AgileTD. And yeah, see you next time. And I hope to see you at the Agile Testing Days. Okay.
Hopefully once it will happen.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. Just let me know. Okay. So take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.